Entering the new year 2026, it seems like it's going to be a pretty good one already, because a first meme of the year, according to TikTok, it's Ronaldo.
It's almost like we're regressing back to 2016.
And mind you, not just 2016, 2016. Part 2. And did I just stole a bit from a bigger YouTuber that I look up to make a joke in the first 20 seconds of the video? Yes. Yes, I did. Either way, on a real note, 2026, it's a whole new year. You know what that means, right? Resolutions. And goals. Oh man. I'm sure every single one of you, including myself, have, your own resolutions. You want to be shredded, you want a life partner, you want to be successful and make that first million. Wow. Now, of course, I would like to make a joke about New Year's resolution. I'm not gonna say too much, but just know that probably you've written one yourself. So many things you want to achieve in that year, and then you fail 90% of it. Yeah, so do I. Birds of the same feather, yeah? So instead, this video is not going to be a New Year's resolution, keep that in mind, but more of a putting my thoughts and ideas out there and basically boiling it all down to make it easier for you to understand where my mind is right now, what I'm working on, and where I'm heading towards, right? And who knows, perhaps in this video, from my past experiences and whatnot, you can probably learn a thing or two to not make that mistake yourself. Yeah. And now, before we begin, I want to say big up to my guy Wiz Gaming, a fellow aspiring creator, who made a similar video to this, which basically steal my resolve and inspires me to make my video my own here. But I guess a lot more longer, as you can tell. So therefore, if you're interested, let's dive into it, shall we? Greetings, my name is Zenixio III, you can call me Zenix for short, and welcome back to the GD3 on my channel. And let us begin with the first question. Where are we going?
What happened to your, the ordering screen?
Somebody got McMad.
Somebody got McMad?
Yeah.
Yo!
As you would expect, directions is basically the direct answer for the question I asked earlier, right? So now for the more specific question is, what is exactly going to be the channel direction going forward in 2026 and the years ahead? Right? I said that again. Well, first things first, I would like to say I want to put my channel and my, content first in the middle ground of a spectrum. And I ain't talking autism. And it is a spectrum of 5 channels, actually 4 including mine. Where the far left of the spectrum, left of the spectrum is going to be channels that are relatively high quality videos and looking professional type stuff, type beat, right? And then the far right spectrum is going to be like relatively still high quality videos, but it's more, relatively more inverse or more cultured and the meme, irony, and youth culture economy. If that's even a thing. And thus, the spectrum from left to right, that is Lemino, Sidemen, my channel, Corey Kinchin, and Pyrocynical. And as you can tell, it's a wide variety. Like, burp in the middle of that. But either way, I want to place my content being basically the middle ground of the spectrum earlier. I want to be a bit of, professional and a bit of, the editing and the way it's presented. But the way I am, being myself in the video and, the personality beyond the videos, it will be more towards the right spectrum. That makes sense, I guess. I don't know, but that's the way I feel about it, right? And I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to explain what exactly these channels do and have to earn its place in the spectrum. It's really based on vibes and feels. These 2 channels, Lemino and Simon, is more towards, the heavily professional looking smooth editing, stuff like that, but really minimal and jokes in the sense of it's not really memes you just throw everywhere. Meanwhile, these 2 channels, Corey Kinchin and Pyrocynical, really dwell on again the meme culture, youth culture, and also a lot of irony for a lot of their jokes and their delivery. I really don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like that, I guess. And I want to make my content pretty much the middle ground of these spectrums. Again, it's really hard to explain, but if you get what I mean, you get what I mean. If you don't, well, so do I. It's hard to explain. And also, I guess I should mention this as well, but before I put myself in the spectrum and the middle ground of all these channels I mentioned before, right? It's me before, in the last 5 years of YouTube, I was basically wandering around nothingness. I don't know what content to make, I don't know what my niche should be and what I'm good at the time, so yeah, 5 years kind of wasted, one might say, yes. However, ever since I did this Anansa video, a video around Anansa and basically all my concerns and criticisms, if you watched that, which no one did, but either way, there's this one commenter in that video that says this. With this comment in mind, I now realize that my delivery of topic, the way I edit my videos, and also the way my video is structured in general, can be the one direction, no pun intended, to carry and shape the content for my channel going forward, because clearly, it's working. My guy said he didn't even know what the video is about, but apparently he stumbled into peak. Say less, my brother. And hey, if the commenters watching this video, comment down below and just spam raw to, I guess, reenact this GIF that's pretty popular in Instagram Reels. That's like a reaction bit, I guess. I don't know. But truly, on a real note, thank you for commenting. I understand it now. And it's like this. Essentially, my content going forward will boil down to 3 types of categories. And the categories are QTEs, MREs, and GCSEs. And let me explain what they are one by one, alright? Let us start with the first one, which is the easiest to understand because it's not too far from the original expansion or the original meaning of what the acronym really is. And that is the category of QTE, which stands for Quick Time Experiences. And this is basically all types of content that is like, is it easy to make? Is it less than 2 days to process, produce, and post? Is it short? That right there, that's a QTE, no questions asked, alright? Simply put, QTE type content will basically like the special program reactions that I do to Genshin or Zenless and probably Arknight's Enfield. No commentary walkthroughs of storylines or quest lines for like Genshin or ZZZ. Although if I'm gonna do this, I'm probably going to break it down to like part 1, part 2, and part 3 because some of these can be very, very lengthy. Like, damn. And specifically for my channel, it'll be using more of the Mandarin or Chinese dub because, man, I'm tired of seeing the popular ones everywhere I go to look up a quest line on Genshin. It's always going to be in English or Japanese. So I had my own, like, I guess, Kratos moment of like, fine, I'll do it myself. So if any of y'all want to see Chinese dub versions and specifically the male MCs for a lot of these like gacha games like Genshin, ZZZ, and perhaps Enfield at some point in time, then come to my channel because guaranteed quality. Although maybe sometimes a bit laggy, but curiosity will be satisfied, and it's proven by this recent comment right here on one of these videos. Nice! And I guess the last type of like content that will fall into this category of QTE will be the short form content. I mean, surprise, surprise, YouTube Shorts, TikToks, Instagram Reels, because, well, they're short. Lamau. And of course, keep this in mind because if you're expecting this type of content or this category of content, just know that they're not going to have exactly the highest quality or value, right? I mean, of course, it goes without saying, I'll try my best to keep it in my editing style and presentation, but of course, the maximum level of quality or value you're getting from these videos are about equal or the same as your favorite and typical daily slop live commentary channels. Comment down below what your favorite. Nevertheless, to summarize, the QTE category is basically the quick fire, straight to the point, 1 to 2 day produced content that's basically slop to anyone who wants to see that, which is fine because, you know, the piggies, they need their delicious slop. And now on to the second category of content, which I think will have more substance than QTE, and that is MRE. And no, MRE does not stand for meal ready to eat, although I've seen this one video from like S. Johnson voiceovers about trying military MREs, and it looks so interesting that I kind of want to try myself, but that's beside the point, right? Either way, the MRE here stands for medium relative effort, and as the name suggests, this will be content that will have relatively more medium effort to like produce and make, right? Like for example, it takes 3 days to a whole week to again produce, record, and script, and keyword and script because unlike QTE, quick time experiences, there is more likely to be no script in those videos, but MREs is going to be more like there's going to be a script, not all the time, but most likely there's going to be a script, and it's going to be more well thought out and more structured, I guess, right? And let me tell you something, I have a great feeling that most content or content series that will fall into this category will be the certified hit classics for the channel. So listen up, here we go. The first one coming in hot. Will be HL3MR, which is derived from my name, GD3MR. It stands for Highlights 3 Minutes roughly, and I guess the title speaks for itself. I pick a topic, do a playthrough, or pretty much discuss anything that's pretty lengthy or complicated, and then I put it all to a highlight summary or montage of roughly 3 minutes of what was originally like, let's say, a 2 hour, 4 hour, 20 hour subject, right? And keep in mind, the keyword here is roughly, because HL3MR wouldn't be exactly 3-minute videos, and that's it, right? Instead, it'll be videos that have, I guess, 2 to 3 segments, probably more, probably less, and each segment will, well, you guessed it, roughly 3 minutes. Or at least I try anyway, because who knows, maybe one segment could be like only 2 minutes if there's not much to talk about, and another segment could be 4.5 minutes if there's too much to talk about. Point is, the word roughly here is to give it flexibility, right? And so by that premise alone, that seems pretty solid, right? Because let's say for a funny example here, those slop live commentary channels that cover internet drama that usually dies down in like 2 weeks, but they somehow make 17 consecutive videos totaling 4 hours. Like, why waste 4 hours? Just wait for me to make an HL3MR about it and you watch that. Wouldn't that be nice? You spend a relative 10 minutes on the topic and I get views. Lamau. But I digress. I don't like petty internet drama either, so this may not be a thing I do at all for HL3MR, but there's that possibility if you want to think about that, right? One might say it's like a potential career venture. like a job application, holy. Nevertheless, jokes aside, let's go back to the topic, HL3MR, which, by the way, I will say just a little heads up, the next video right after this video might be an HL3MR, the first of many to come in the series, right? And I ain't going to spoil too much, but let's just say it's going to be about Genshin Impact's Luna 4 or update 6.3. That's all I'm gonna say. Currently, that's my plans, but of course, you and I know that life full of surprises. So who knows in the coming days if life chooses to drag me down or slow me down by giving me more personal gripes and struggles. This video will be way over the official release date of ArcNet's Enfield, which I'll be mentioning again in a second here. That is what I'm gonna say for HL3MR, the first content series under the category of MRE. On to the next one. The next CIS or content idea series under the MRE category would be Think About It Like Ong, or shortened as
Tayo. Ampun bang, ampun bang, ampun. Dapat melawan bos. Tago dicakar anjing.
Or of course, it could be a talk about a variation instead of think about it to make it more versatile, you know? And honestly, the way I see it, this might be easier to do than HL3MR because it's basically like those yap around videos from Penguin Zero, but a lot more, I guess, funnier with like power cynical delivery on the slop channel he has. But it's on about, it's on thoughts and I guess like topics that I think is like interesting and overall worth expanding upon, right? So obviously this includes like news, ideas, some funny things, and so on and so forth. And keep in mind that might be most likely a Think About It edition. And of course, like I said before, we have a Talk About It edition, and that's about a lot more anything that I reckon worth talking or making a video about, and something that's a lot more like, I guess, free and versatile to talk about, right? Like for example, one idea that I have for a Talk About It variation is me making a video about the male MC of Genshin Impact and then analyzing the Kana interaction with all the female playable characters and then putting them on a tier list based on their compatibility, relationship wise. Kind of a wacky idea, I know, but if it does well, we'll do other games as well, but that's the gist of it for now. So yeah, that right there is Tylo. Don't expect much from it, but also don't think of it less either. Alright, let's move on. Now into the third CIS, which I think could very well be a classic on the channel, but also not, because the concept of this is a bit overplayed and overdone by a lot of streamers and a lot of like content creators, right? It's going to be something called the Instagram Reels Saves, or as I like to call it, the IRS. And worry not, when you're watching this when it's out and about, you don't have to worry about the actual IRS at your doorstep. Well, I hope anyway. Now, of course, you might think immediately, okay, this is one of the series where, like, you look at Instagram Reels, haha, funny, haha, laugh, 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 and then you just simply compile that to a video and then you call that a day. But what's so special about that? That's what you're thinking, right? Well, partially, I guess that is true, around 80%, but let me explain for just a little bit, right? The reason why it's called Instagram Reels Saves, right? It's because it's gonna go through my Instagram saves, obviously. And again, I'll admit, 80% of it is going to be like, again, the typical no context memes, funny hack clips, and I guess some sensitive content that you have to blur because Instagram Reels is, you know, that type of place. But of course, it's not all of it because I also save a bunch of like cool stuff, like tips and tricks, some references for like future videos, and some cool ideas, and overall some interesting stuff. So it's not all going to be like, oh, funny haha clips, 10 out of 10. Like, it's not gonna be just that, alright? And that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna over explain it because when the first video of the series comes out and about, I'll explain it more in detail in that video, but I will not probably be doing this in the state of my current channel right now because I'm really nobody, and these type of videos have a tendency to get copyright claims and issues way more than other types of videos. Just like you reacting to TikToks, it's the same thing though. Why am I doing this with my hand? I don't know. So overall, that was the MRE category, medium relative effort category, right? So once again, these are the three main CIS that I have right now, and even though some of them may not be doable right now, I have a huge tingly feeling that HL3MR and Tylo is going to be the most popular and the most frequent type of content series you'll be seeing from this channel. So give a round of applause to those two, I guess. Lamau. And now, let's finally talk about the final category, something that we all fear. Except for, I guess, the unemployed. And that is GCSE, or known as Generally Considered Standalone Experience. Yeah, can you tell I'm trying to make this a funny abbreviation or acronym moment? Clearly not. But either way, let's just uncomplicate it real quick, yeah? The GCSE category is basically for all types of videos or content that took way too long to make, like way too long to edit, produce, record, and so on and so forth. And it will have a good amount of duration or length and a good amount of quality at the very least. So these will be videos that take, I guess, around 20 days average to make, if not more, if not even more, right? Which is, of course, as consistent and is heavily inspired by the upload schedule and format of Power Arsenical, The Russian Badger, Corey X Kenshin, and Maxor. Of course, I'm not saying these videos will have the same level of quality as them or trying to be them, but let's just say this is like my spin on the whole monthly, it takes a whole month to make this content type trope, right, I would say. I mean, truly, this is some standard content in the current economy of like AI schlup content, ADHD short form, and daily drama content, right? We get content creators to make videos every single 4 months, and sometimes those videos can be as long as 4 feature films put together. Let us pat ourselves in the back here. We come a long way. Either way, let's take a deep breath, let's take a step back. Enough of all the irony and satire for now, yeah? Because I got more coming up. Here we go. Let us put out there the first CIS that I have right now that is under the GCSE category. That being Monthly Gamer Report. Which is, simply put, a recap of whatever I experienced throughout that month, of whatever that month is. And it's usually segmented into 4 parts because of 1 for each week, right, I would say. And if you want to put it even more simply, this is just simply HL3MR but for a whole month instead of a certain subject. And instead of 3 minutes, it's probably 30 minutes and it's overproduced. Yeah. And how is it overproduced, you may ask? Well, simply put, I made an intro for something like this 4 months ago or 6 months ago now. And yeah, there you go. I know it sounds a bit corny and a bit of cringe every once in a while, but hey, that is the rough visualization and the rough idea that I have right now. Yeah, let's just move on, alright? Now, remember what I mentioned earlier about this video will be way over the official release date of Arknight's Enfield, which I'll be mentioning again in a second here. Well, here it is, because we're going to talk about a CIS I would like to call Daily 30. And I think y'all are smart enough to understand what it means, right? And if you don't, it is simply anything I can commit time to, like for example, a new video game release, or perhaps a new habit I'm trying, or perhaps any other certain experiences, right? I give it a go, and I give time for it for 30 days straight. Like I'll record, react, or just experience the thing like how I normally would. What normally would sometimes being a bit extra, because I think it's a lot more funnier and fun-inducing that way, I would say, right? And at the end of it, I give my, I guess, overall review, testimony, and I guess like recap of what I feel, how I feel, and what I think about the certain 30-day subject, right? Simply put, that's that. And thus, that is why earlier I brought up Arknight's Enfield, because this game was released January 22nd, literally this year, and I recorded my 31 days of me playing this game or experiencing the game, and let me tell you, not spoiler, but it was quite an experience.
It was a new experience. I
think I'm starting to understand what new experience means.
Exactly.
You'll see. You'll see. Either way, big shout out to Chicken for the content inspiration, because he's the first one that I saw that make a video with this type of format, and you know what? I'll try it. Here I go, I guess. So yeah, big up to the guy. And one more thing to mention, this wouldn't be a regular thing, because obviously anything that's 30 days I can commit time to. There's not much of it right now. Like as of right now, my content is surrounding like gacha gaming stuff and this and that. So Arknight's Enfield is currently what I have in mind. Although NCE is coming up in like April 29th, so I might do that when that comes up, but we'll see, right? We'll see. So overall, that is Daily 30, and I almost forgot one more CIS, and that is of course CACAT, or known as Concerns and Criticisms about Things. I made a video about this to Anansa a few months ago. It didn't go well, so let's see if the future ones will be in the same ballpark or it'll bang. We'll see. And with so, that is all the CIS that I have for the GCSE category. Now let's give it a quick one too. Let's do a recap, yeah? In short, the overall direction of my content going forward will be once again in 3 categories: the quickfire, the medium effort, and the long ones, respectively the QTEs, the MREs, and the GCSEs. Of course, if you want to go back to take a look at every single CIS that I have for every single category, just scroll back like a few minutes, or there's going to be timestamps to this in the description or in the video chapters. You can use that, have fun, right? And with so, finally, to those of you that are still watching up to this point, let me let you in for a little gift, so to speak. I'm gonna tell you a secret category. Yes, there is another one. It is a temporary category exclusive just to this video, and it's gonna be called Loot. LOOT, which stands for likely one-off titles. And basically what this is, it's a simple, small content roadmap with like 3 titles in here. So let's just quickfire this real quick. Yeah, here it is. The first title in this category is How I Edit My Videos. Parentheses, very easy. I mean, self-explanatory, right? It's basically if you want to learn how I make videos like this, for whatever reason, this is the video coming up soon though, I don't know. Now on to the second title, and that is top things to make your life easier. And what this is basically, it's things that I've learned so far in my entire human life to make your life easier. Like what apps that I use, what things that I do, and what extensions in my browser is, and so on and so forth that I think is useful, especially in the content creation sphere, so to speak, right? Simply put, basically life hacks. So yeah, that's that. And finally, for the third title in this category, it's custom subtitles and how to make them. Now this one's going to be very interesting for me to like dive deep and also explain to you, because this might sound very tutorial sounding by the video idea, right? But this is literally how you make those karaoke style subtitles that those VTubers use in their like covers or like their original song, that, you know, the subtitles like light up every single time they say the syllable of a word of their lip. Basically, if you know what those are, I know how to make them. Stay tuned for that. And there we go. That's the 3 titles that I have for this category. And with that being said, now we have 4 categories for my channel going forward. QTEs, MREs, GCSEs, and the temporary one, loot. As of right now, these are the, I guess you can say, category mediums that I will be using for the main structure for my channel for the next, I would say, 10 years minimum, right? And thus, I guess this is the perfect time more than ever to say that if you're interested to see any of this like series and ideas go live when it does, then, you know, subscribe. And of course, I'll try my very best to present it to y'all in the best way that I could to the best of my abilities. And I guess I'll say this as well, just to put it out there as a bonus. If any of you watching right now, you are a aspiring small content creator dreaming to go big on YouTube like I am, and you're seeing these ideas and you want to steal them for your channel, go ahead. Feel free, I couldn't care less. And that is because I for one believe that even if you are stealing these ideas now, so to speak, as long as you keep on creating, practicing, showing up, and so on and so forth, you'll improve eventually. And one day you'll find your own signature, trade, brand, niche, and audience. So with that, good luck. But either way, nevertheless, overall, all in all, this right here has been the direction segment of this video. And now we're going to move on to the next 2 segments, destinations and dreams, which I would predict right now in the editing would be both combined shorter than the 2/3 of the duration of the segment. So yeah, my bad for the long duration of the segment. As you can probably tell from the amount of short breathiness that I have from speaking, the clock changing constantly, and the amount of times I change my clothes in this segment alone. Lamau. I haven't tried, by the way. So with that out of the way, we have answered the question, where are we going? Now, let's ask the question, where does it matter?
Fucking hell, Ray!
And now with all the channel directions set and the pathway now with envisioned, the question now really is, where does it all really matter? Because once again, I'm trying to avoid making this video like a New Year resolution, which once again, it's like...
Now, we all know how New Year starts. People go to the gym. I mean, you guys don't. Come on, you watching me. Come on. But most normal people, they would end up going to the gym for about January. The gyms are clogged up full of people using the weights, sitting on there, scrolling on TikTok most of the time. And then come February or March, people stop going because they realize they actually need to put some commitment in.
Oh my god, man, he just like me for anyway. So instead, I'll list my goals as bullet points and call them DLCs. Destination, landmark, checkpoints. Because we all know the saying, life is like a video game. So this is basically me listing my desired checkpoints, or I guess save points, I guess, right? It's hard to explain, I know, but I think you get my point. You get what I mean, right? And also, I'm looking at the camera preview. Why is it so bright today? Oh my days. Alright, let's get the show running, yeah? Goal number 1 is getting the channel monetized. Very simple, right? Once we get to the point, huge. For a lot of reasons. But the first reason being rent. It helps with me paying my rent. Well, actually rent in quotation marks, because it's not really your traditional rent, but it's like, for me anyway, paying my rights to live in this house. I know it sounds very weird, but I'm not gonna get into it because it's really personal, so don't worry about it. Either way, onto reason number 2, or number 2. If it all goes very, very well, I'll save up the money to buy new equipment and basically upgrade my stuff, like get a better PC specifications, a better phone, so to speak, better mic stand. Oh, and also, let's not forget, I'll try to save up as well to get a brand new chair, because...
Holy Jesus. What is that? What
In the fuck is you? Welcome to Earth.
However, one thing that I'm certain that I'm not changing until it's completely out is this webcam right here. As you can see, looks like a security camera footage of your typical paranormal sightings. And yes, I'm keeping this. Why? because this is like your J Schlatt funny mic. Yeah, this is mine right here. And of course, speaking of funny mics,
this is how it sounds. Atrocious, but good.
Either way, if my channel gets monetized, big happy, because especially my content is specifically English speaking or English spoken, even though I live here in Indonesia, and most of my audience is in the US according to the graph here. I reckon I might have a higher CPM than average, because apparently that's how it works. Right? I don't know. But who knows, right? Let's just say, like, hypothetically, if, say, in the first month of my channel monetization, I earn, like, a humble net of $50, I mean, that would be nice, especially here in Indonesia. That roughly accounts up to 800,000 rupiah, which is enough to buy this noodle dish around 80 times. Delicious. Wow. Either way, all those reasons, like I said before, that's the first DLC, alright? Now on to the second point of, which is, you know, once the ball started rolling and my channel is monetized, I'm hoping to be able to start live streaming once again. Which, by then, can also open up the potential of, I know, the overused and overplayed meta of streaming. Like we all know, the meta now is like, you stream the content or you're playing a game while you're streaming it, you have like a chat that says certain things or react to the content you're making as well, and then you can hold that up as like a little funny moment in the video. Like, we all know this, right? It's very common at this point. So yeah, if I ever get to that point in life, then we might be doing that, but we'll see though. Which brings us to our third and final point of the DLC here, is to finally reach a point where I can enjoy the fruit of my labors, right? I would say. If the channel gets monetized, cinema. But if I can also stream at the same time, peak. This third DLC is simply the phase right after that, which is basically the phase where I could live off the revenue I make on YouTube. And if I ever get to that point, well, we made it. And of course, everything else that comes right afterwards will come when it does, right? Like me hitting a milestone, 100,000 subscribers, a lot of views, sponsors, whatever, this and that, you get the point, right? But until then, I'll try my best to be consistent in my delivery, presentation, and ability to provide content for the channel overall. That's where it matters. And there you go, that's the destination segment. And now let's dive into probably the shortest segment of this video, dreams, which asks the question, where is next? At some point in life, when the direction we're going is clear and the destinations are in sight, you may be asking, where's next? What else do you want to achieve in life? Where else are you going to go when it's all done? This type of questions, right? To answer that, in this segment, I'm going to tell you my dreams, explain them all in one sentence, and leave it all to the rest of the time. Because obviously dreams are a personal thing, you shouldn't overhype them, you shouldn't over-explain them, you shouldn't do all that. Just simply work towards it, know that's your motivation going forward, and just do it.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it.
If you're ready, here we go. The first one that I have that is basically the most ambitious one so far is a, I guess, lifelong multimedia franchise project, I think it's called. And it's called the ASU, or Assorted System Universe, right? Basically what this is, it's like the MCU, but instead of like mainly focusing on superheroes strictly, it's my take and my spin on the universe and the world combined from Genshin Impact, Zone Zero, Ananta, and a bunch of other gacha games. Yeah, there you go. Pretty ambitious, right? And then the second dream that I have is to finally one day move out of this house and live in China.
你多久没拉屎了？上次拉屎又是什么时候？你现在在拉屎吗？是什么颜色？是什么味道？今天你拉屎了吗？去拉屎吧。
Specifically in Shenzhen and Hong Kong to live a dual life. I'm not gonna explain more than that. And last but now anyway, but not least, is the third one. If I die, I want to go to heaven. Much like everyone else, unless of course you're a fanatic fan of a certain indie animation series on Amazon with A24 that depicts the world down there as not that bad and you're convinced that's how it is down there and you want to go down for some reason. Alright, and yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna dwindle around it too much because again, dreams are dreams. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? I'll be continuing to work on these in the background and you don't have to worry about it, simply put. And also, by the way, because I'm currently 20 years old, turning 21 this year, who knows, maybe by the time I'm 30, I'll have different directions, destinations, and dreams lists, and I'll make another one of these videos in 10 years time, right? Therefore, here comes, I guess, a CTA moment. Comment down below what's your directions, destinations, and dreams in real life as well, because who knows, maybe if you comment down below, we can learn from each other right? Let's make it a discussion and a conversation, so to speak. And yeah, that's about it. And would you look at that? What did I tell you? The destinations and dream segments combined is not longer than the entire direction segment. Lamau. And thus, welcome to the closing segment of this video. You can leave now if you want to, but if you wanted to stay for a little bit, here's what I gotta say, right? We have answered the 3 questions of this video. Where are we going? Where does it matter? And where's next? And like I said in the dream segment, I might be doing this type of video once every 10 years to basically showcase, recap, or document, I guess, my life in YouTube as a content creator, right? And my hair is falling off slowly. And hopefully, there's no point, if it all goes well, this video will be at least one of the 5 first videos of 2026. Plot twist. Can you guess what the plot twist is? It wasn't. It's like the 13th video. But either way, this video hopefully can be like a pseudo channel trailer of what you can expect from my content going forward throughout the coming years, right? And once again, if you're still watching at this point, I want to say I appreciate you, greetings, and welcome aboard. Let us see where life takes us, yeah? Anywho, I know I talked way too much, and yeah, that is all for this video, and I truly hope you enjoyed it, or at least it's worth your time, alright? That is all I'm gonna say. Thank you for watching, keep respect, and God bless. And I'll greet you all in the next one. So long.